Some people chase space. I chase simplicity. And this project, his cabin, became my definition of freedom. It started with a single idea: build a fully self-sustaining tiny cabin, powered entirely by solar energy. No noise, no bills, no dependency. Just design, sunlight, and a little bit of patience. The first step was location. I found a small clearing at the edge of a pine forest, open enough for sunlight, quiet enough for isolation. Before anything else, I studied the sun path, where it rises, how it arcs, and when it dips. Because if you're building off-grid, the sun becomes your architect. The footprint was simple to 10 by 16 feet, just enough space for a bed, kitchenette, and workspace. I started with pressure-treated 4x4 posts as the foundation, raised 6 inches off the ground to prevent moisture damage. On top of that, I built the floor frame using 2x6 joists, spaced 16 inches apart, everything leveled, bolted, and sealed. Next, the frame. I built the walls using 2x4 lumber, lightweight but strong. I left a wide opening for the south-facing wall, where the solar panels would capture direct light through the day. Before the roof went on, I pre-routed all electrical conduits, planning ahead for wiring, so nothing would be exposed later. For the exterior, I used reclaimed cedar planks, sanded, sealed, and stained deep charcoal. The look was modern but natural, blending with the landscape instead of dominating it. Then came the core of the project, the solar system. I installed 4 300-watt monocrystalline panels on a custom-built rack angled at 30 degrees. The panels fed into a 40 amp PT charge controller, connected to two 12 volts deep cycle batteries housed in a ventilated compartment under the cabin floor. Total cost: just under $900 for everything solar-related. Not cheap, but freedom rarely is. Inside, the setup ran 12 volts LED lighting, a compact inverter for charging tools, and a mini fridge, all off-grid, all silent. I added an emergency disconnect switch and inline fuses for safety. Everything labeled, everything clean. Now, insulation, because off-grid living isn't just about power, it's about efficiency. I lined the walls with rigid foam panels and mineral wool, then sealed every gap with expanding foam. A small wood stove in the corner became both heater and centerpiece. That one element transformed the cabin from a build into a home. The roof was a simple shed style, sloping slightly toward the back for rain runoff. I used corrugated steel sheets, coated in matte black, with a gutter system feeding into a 55-gallon rain barrel. That's where sustainability meets practicality. Energy from the sky, water from the clouds. The final 10% of the project took 50% of the time: interior finishing. I built a foldable table from leftover lumber, floating shelves, and a sleeping loft accessible by a minimalist ladder. Every inch had to earn its purpose. Every joint, every seam mattered. When I finally turned on the solar system, lights glowing softly, inverter humming quietly, the silence felt earned. No generator noise, no connection to the grid, just pure, functional independence. At night, I stood outside and watched the cabin under moonlight, a small structure glowing faintly in the dark. Running entirely on sunlight captured hours before. It was poetic. It was engineering. It was enough. Let's talk cost for context. Lumber and materials, $1,800. Roofing and insulation, $450 solar setup. $900 hardware, fixtures, and finish. $350 total. $3,500 and 0 monthly bills. That's not just a cabin. That's control. Because when you build something that runs on nature, you stop being a consumer and start being a participant. This isn't a luxury project. It's a blueprint for sustainable independence. You don't need more space. You need smarter space. You don't need more power. You need cleaner power. And when you merge both, you realize simplicity isn't sacrifice. It's strategy. Camera drifts upward. Aerial shot of the cabin under morning light. Solar panels glinting softly. A single line of smoke rises from the chimney, dissolving into clear blue sky. Build smart. Build small. Build something that outlasts the noise.